Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for preventing my husband from throwing his daughter an engagement party? My husband's daughter, we'll call her Clara, recently got engaged, and he wanted to throw them a party. This is important to him as he feels our daughter together got better birthday parties, and this is a point of contention with him. I wasn't even around when she was having these lackluster parties, so I don't know how it is my fault, but somehow it is. At first I agreed, but when I thought about it, the groom's mother is banned from our house. She called me a whore to mutual friends, and she got drunk at our house and announced we are bad people for getting married and having a baby, because she never would have done that to her son. And she bragged about how she never introduced a single boyfriend to her son because he wasn't okay with it. That is her choice. But personally I don't think it is healthy to let a child run your life to that extent. She also breastfed her daughter at a dinner party, which was fine, but caused her to spill food all over my couch. When I was annoyed, she told people I'm anti-breastfeeding and made a joke about how Clara will never want to bring her future children to our house. Needless to say, she is banned. My husband already told Clara about the party. He then had to backtrack and explain that while he still wants to throw her a party, the groom's mother cannot come. Clara got irritated and said she didn't want the party then, and that he was making her event about me. She said I should have thicker skin and not care what this woman says, and cited that her fiance offered to pay for our couch. My husband asked me to reconsider, and I said no, there really isn't time to book a venue, so we are just going to cancel. He is now mad at me and thinks I should let it go this one time. I'm just not okay with being disrespected or having someone say my daughter should not exist right in front of my daughter. The party had to be cancelled because it was too late to find a location. The mother of the bride sounds like a real pain. Clara is the focus of this, not you. So stay away from her for the evening. She's going to the wedding, and you might not get an invitation because of this. Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. Info: why not rent a hall to have the party in and then avoid the mother-in-law while you're there? Why on earth is the choice to be at Op's house or nowhere? There are lots of more creative ways to do this than a party at a restaurant. Rent a tent in Op's backyard, local Elks Club, pavilion at a state or local park, etc. Think outside the box, y'all. Read some of her other posts. She's too fancy for that. Info: why is there no time to have it at a restaurant? Are they getting married next week? Do you plan to exclude your daughter's mother-in-law from your lives forever? None of this makes sense. Info: you mentioned that it's too late to find a venue, so the party just had to be cancelled. But it's not like her mother-in-law coming is new information. It's relatively obvious. So why did you wait so long to tell your husband? You could have said something ASAP, and they could have had time to make other arrangements. Am I the antagonist for reading my Coworker'S fanfiction in front of everyone at work? I guess the title sounds bad, but please hear me out. I, 27 male, am a general manager at a fast food restaurant, not gonna say which BC. I don't want to get in trouble with my assistant manager Sophie, 23F. Me and Sophie get along pretty well. We joke, fight about stuff all the time, and like to prank each other a lot. Like prank calls, or making the other do fake orders, or writing fake surveys about the other, or splashing soda on the other. We end up working together a lot, since we get a bunch of callouts especially at night, and Sophie likes to pick up extra hours. We've both climbed up in the couple years that we've worked there and have a good relationship. When it's dead, Sophie likes to write fanfiction on her phone, which I sometimes tease her about. A while back I made Sophie read me a line that she was writing, and we were making jokes about it. Last week I suddenly remembered the fanfiction again and decided to try and find it. I remembered the line she had read to me and was able to search for it online using quotation marks. I'm not gonna say which show it's from because I don't want anyone to find it, but it was shocking to read. Pretty much the two characters in it worked at a fast food chain and ended up falling in love. It got pretty graphic at some parts too. The main character was essentially a representation of Sophie and the love interest was basically me. I mean, right down to copying conversations that we've had at work. He even had a wife that he was cheating on to be with her. I'm married but I would never do such a thing. Anyway, a few nights ago Sophie and the rest of the team threw a party to celebrate a couple of wins, and of course Sophie pranked me by shoving a cupcake in my face. So I remembered what I read. I thought it would be a good prank. So I pulled up the fanfiction on my phone and started to read it. When she realized what I was reading, Sophie's eyes started to tear up, which I was not expecting. The rest of the team was joking around with her, but she ran out of the party. Now she's not showing up to her shifts or answering my calls or texts. It's weird that Soph is acting like this, since she usually loves pranks and stuff, so now I'm wondering if I took it too far. But I also feel like she shouldn't have been writing those things about me and her too. Am I the antagonist? You intentionally searched for your employees' private work online and then shared the entire thing without their consent. You completely betrayed her trust before making her feel ashamed. This is similar to reading someone's high school diary. This is not a joke. It is quite upsetting. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. AITA. That wasn't a prank. You intentionally embarrassed her in front of people. A prank is something silly when you both laugh together. This was mean-spirited and it humiliated her. You should apologize. I guess the title sounds bad, but hear me out. Hears him out. That didn't get any better at all. If anything, it got worse than the title. Hear me out. I know this sounds bad, but you're the a-hole. Hear me out. I know it sounds bad, but the truth is actually worse than you thought. AITA, and all your replies just scream, "It's not my fault, she didn't get the joke, I did nothing wrong." See? Op has some serious lack of empathy to even think of doing this to begin with. AITA, that's not a prank. That's revealing a private side to her that she trusted you enough to share, but didn't want others to know. That was a serious violation of trust and an R move. Also, her writing honestly might not be about you, and she's just combining scenes from work to make her character sound more realistic. But I'm sure you won't have to worry about it anymore, because you probably shamed her into quitting writing. She didn't trust him enough to know. She shared a single sentence that she definitely didn't expect him to Google to find the rest. She trusted him enough to share that she was writing fanfiction. She trusted that he wouldn't tell the whole world, but he did anyway. Edit, because I had to go back and reread the post. I realized that she didn't actually offer to read him a line, he made her read it to him. Then he took that line and found her writings. I was thinking she shared it just over the course of them working together, but no, he bullied her to read some, then used it as a weapon against her. Wow. Op is an even bigger R than I originally thought. Am I the antagonist for crying about a diet? My 14F mom is a gym coach. I have health issues which requires me to lose weight. I'm 5'2" and around 130 pounds. I've been put on constant diets to lose weight, but after the diet's over I end up gaining back the weight from the stress of the diet. When I'm off diet and haven't been for a while, I'm able to control my meals well. There's a 13-day extreme diet that I've already done twice, and I absolutely hate it because of the meal plan. If I can get the meal plan, I'll post it. My mom is telling me I need to do it again cause I'm finally getting skinny, and I need to do it before I start high school. Just by looking at the meal plan I burst into tears about having to do it again, and I got yelled at for not being able to communicate with my parents. I only agree to do them because they make me feel like I don't have a choice. I know it's for my health and it'll make me healthier, but I hate it so much. So am I the antagonist? Update. So I spoke my mom and she's agreed to just have me have a heather diet and exercise her. She said she never intended for me to feel like that, and she'll help me step by step to help eat healthier. Although I hate to say it, your mother is not acting in your best interests. She said that you are finally losing weight, but she said nothing about your general well-being or fitness. Extreme diets don't work, and NTA's BMI is beneath the normal weight range. Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. As someone who is trained regarding physical fitness, your mom should be aware the key to losing weight isn't extreme diets. It's finding a good, sustainable pattern of eating and exercise you'll stick with, not the a-hole. Also, were you told by a doctor you have to lose weight? because the normal weight for someone 5 feet 2 is 104 to 135 lbs. You aren't overweight. As others have said, you should talk with another adult about this. Maybe a nurse or health teacher at school. Or some other teacher you trust. Yay, the doctor said I need to get surgery on a few things and I need to lose weight 'cause of some other stuff it's kinda hard to explain. I see. This seems odd, since you aren't overweight. I would think crash dieting before surgery would be more dangerous. Is there anyone you can get a second opinion from? Like a nurse or health teacher? I realize school probably hasn't started yet for you. But will you be back at school before the surgery? Edit. Also, did the doctor directly tell you this? Or did your mother say that's what the doctor said? And what weight did they say you need to be? I'm 5 feet 2, and I weight about what you do. It's a healthy weight. NTA. This op is a healthy weight. Her mom is going to give her an eating disorder. Am I the antagonist for kicking my mother-in-law out after she watched the kids? I will be quick here. Mother-in-law came to babysit our 3 kids, 12-yo twin girls, 9-yo boy, Friday. She arrived at 7 p.m, was supposed to be there at 6, and the kids go to bed at 8. She stayed until 2 a.m. I paid her $150. So for 90% of the time the kids were in bed, sleeping. When I get home I find my mother-in-law sleeping on the couch, as she usually does when she babysits. She usually stays the night, but things were completely out of place. Like my room had been gone through. My computer personal files had been left open. Definitely were not up when I left. Files that contain intimate photos of both me and my husband, mind you. My dog was fast asleep on my bed versus put in her kennel. Strict no dogs on the bed rule which she is aware of. Her garbage all throughout the living room. Candy wrappers. Snot rags. My bathroom completely rearranged and trashed, including all of our clean towels sitting in the bathtub. The only thing I really had a problem with was my computer. Everything else was the icing on the cake. Like, why are you going through my computer files? I have personal info in there, contracts with clients, and again, intimate photos of both me and my husband. And we have a strict no one allowed in our office rule because of this. So I woke her up and told her she had to leave. My husband was just dumbstruck, wondering what the hell happened to our house when I told him I was kicking her out, and he just nodded because he was baffled that she went through my computer as well, and pretty embarrassed thinking his mom just saw those photos. So I kick her out, and she is asking what she did wrong, and I asked her at this point WTF she was doing in my office, rummaging through my computer files. She claims she was looking for solitaire, which she notes wouldn't be deep in 8 different files marked intimate and personal. So that was bullshit. She starts freaking out saying she will just leave in the AM, and I say no. Now, she leaves. We wake up to several texts and nasty voicemails saying we are wrong and that if I didn't want people going through my shit, I should put a lock on it. I do have a lock on my computer, but it's her son's birthday, so not that hard to hack. Am I the antagonist? NTA and just bizarre. Why didn't she just ask for permission if she really wanted to play the game that much? And why are there towels in the bathtub and other messes all over the place? NTA sounds crazy. Was she intoxicated? Has she ever been overbearing before? Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. I was looking for a knife to cut a sandwich and figured you may have it in your 8 file deep. Don't look at this private file on your computer. Whoopsie. NTA, your mother-in-law has balls and should know better than to snoop through personal things. What I found suspect is that she did not put everything back as it was. She seemed to want them to know that she snooped. Not that I approve at all, just bizarre. Definitely weird. I agree. Because I was expecting to read toward the end when they woke her up she was trashed. But nope. She just rifled through everything, making a mess and not caring that they knew about it. Completely and utterly not the a-hole. She's come into your house, wrecked the place, invaded your privacy, and breached your trust. You have every right to kick her out. What's even worse is that you paid her to do this. She sounds like she has absolutely zero respect for you. NTA. At all. If she has a smartphone, which I know not everyone has, but it's a statistical assumption, she can have solitaire on her phone. So why the hell was she on your computer? Also, you really need to put a password on your laptop, especially if your directory is clearly labeled intimate. If she wants solitaire so badly, include a guest account that has the solitaire icon right in the middle of the desktop. What a bizarre situation. Does she have an issue with alcohol or pills? Or does she show any signs of dementia or Alzheimer's? This sounds like the actions of someone completely out of sorts. Am I the antagonist for not meeting my dying father? I have absolutely no contact with my parents. I don't talk to them. I don't visit them. To be honest, I rather never see them again in my life. This might sound bad, but I do have my reasons. I was kicked out of my parents' house the day after my 18th birthday. My father claimed that an 18-year-old is already an adult, and they should be able to live by themselves. Just a heads up, I was still in high school when that took place. I worked part-time, but I couldn't afford housing. I slept on the streets for about a few weeks until I found a shelter. Not only that, but I had too many rough days after that. The streets are no place for anyone, especially someone that young. Through the help of some NGOs, I managed to finish school, get into a technical course for programming, and get a decent job. Now, 10 years after that, I just graduated college. I saved up to actually do that. However, I can't forgive my parents. I never contacted them, and they didn't contact me. That was until yesterday. Somehow my family, uncle, got my phone contact and sent me a message. My father is extremely sick, and it is likely that he might pass away in the next few days. My uncle told me that my father wanted to see me for a last time and asked if I could go there. I said I would not go. I absolutely resent and bear a grudge against my father and my mother. He kicked me out, and she did absolutely nothing to stop it. As you might assume, my uncle started to get heated and called me heartless, ungrateful and asshole among other things. I'm pretty sure most of my family feels the same way about me. Honestly, I'm only asking here for my sanity's sake. I will not be meeting them, but I understand that the man is dying, and by not going I'm denying something to a dying man, which might make me an asshole. However, even if it does, I do not care. I rather be an asshole than see those two ever again. There is no duty you have to their family. They abandoned you in the world with no means of subsistence. Despite their heinous neglect, you have succeeded due of your own perseverance. Uncle doesn't get to act morally in this situation. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. NTA. The day he kicked you out is the day you are no longer his child. And just because he's dying does not mean you have to forgive him for what he did. You have every right to not visit him. And he's most likely not gonna apologize and try to justify what he did. He'd probably try to take credit if I hadn't put you in the streets. You never will develop the initiative and work ethic to succeed. Now change my bedpan. He's an adult. He's old enough to die on his own. F your uncle and F your dad, not the a-hole. And where was this uncle when your parents threw you out? Did he stand up for you against your parents then? NTA. Your parents did not support you the way parents should. He is not owed a visit. He will have to live and die with the consequences of his actions. I bet he just wants to see op to relieve his conscience before he dies. NTA. They are not your family anymore. They are mere strangers. You own nothing to that man. Am I the antagonist for not buying another dress for my bridesmaid? I'm at a loss right now. I'm getting married in September. When budgeting for our wedding, my husband and I decided we would pay for our wedding party's dresses or tux rental, alterations, shoes, hair and makeup. They could accessorize with their own jewelry as they saw fit. I had my bridal party very involved with picking their dresses and they unanimously decided on one. I had each of them take measurements and try on the dresses before I purchased them. Recently, we all had a fitting. One of my bridesmaids, Joan, went to try hers on, and it was clear that she no longer fit into it. She had gained a significant amount of weight. Joan and I spoke to the tailor privately to if we had options to take it out. While she did her best, the dress was just too small, and while she could try, the dress would look significantly different from the rest, and cost $300 to fix. Double the price of the dress itself. Before I could say anything, Joan chirped, "That's fine. My name will pay for it." I pulled Joan aside and told her I was at my maximum wedding budget. Not to mention, some pipes at my house burst, so money is a little tight for the moment. We can afford the wedding we planned, but not anything extra. I was doing my best to not go into debt for this wedding. She said I could just buy another in her new size. Again, out of my budget. I asked her to cover the cost of a new dress, as well as any alterations as I couldn't afford more than I had. Joan got upset and said I had promised to pay for her dress. I said I had, and I wasn't even mad it was unusable, but ultimately I couldn't afford another. If I had the money, I'd even buy her a cheaper, similar option, but it's not in the budget right now. I said it was okay if she didn't want to buy another. I'd love to have her as my guest. She said she's not coming, period. Saying and going back on my word. Am I the antagonist? Her clothing was purchased by you. You didn't pledge to cover the cost of an endless supply of dresses. Eventually, she realized that her response was inappropriate and wished to apologize and attend as a guest. You know who she is if she never apologizes or doesn't show up. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA, you did buy her a dress. One that was tailored to fit her. It's not your fault she can't wear it anymore. And your budget isn't unlimited. She's behaving very entitled. And it's not her wedding. Agreed, not the a-hole. Friend is very entitled. I'd be embarrassed if I were the friend. Draw that line in the sand. Hold your ground up and realize this isn't actually your friend. Don't go back on anything. You brought the dress. You did your part. Friend is the R though. Anyone who wears clothing knows that if they put on a significant amount of weight, the clothes might not fit anymore. And the friend could easily buy a new dress. $150 with budgeting, she can do it. Fast food is an easy thing to cut out and save money. NTA, you did buy her a dress. She just can't use it now, but that is not your responsibility. NTA, you paid for a dress you shouldn't have to pay for too. Let her stay home and enjoy your day. Unless you spoon fed her Häagen-Dazs or she got pregnant.